Hi everyone, thanks for being with me. Today I'm going to check a few facts, and I found an interesting clip from MSNBC. Now, whether you agree with the left-wing media or not, or whether you see MSNBC as a left-wing media, the reality is facts are facts. And so we've got a clip here from Steve Rattner, which will help us all to decide whether facts are facts. So in this clip, I'm going to show Steve go through some of the lies that have been spread by Donald Trump and whether the facts support his lies or not. Now, this is open for interpretation. All of us can choose our own facts if we like. We can seek verification from a variety of sources in relation to what facts we care to discuss and what we believe are facts and what are not. But some of these facts are quite distinct, I think. And I think Steve covers these in a way which helps us to better understand exactly what the situation is in the United States in relation to a few of the statements made by Donald Trump. So I leave this open to interpretation. See for it, view it however you wish. But at the end of the day, what I'm presenting to you are the facts according to an economist. And Steve is probably the best person to be able to provide those facts for us. So here are the facts.
Donald Trump's claim, it was like the Tonight Show. We needed the curtain, though. Donald Trump's claim about the rate of violent crime across the country, especially crime involving migrants. Let's watch.
Sure, Willie. Well, despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime.
All right, Steve, so what's the reality there?
So the reality there, and we've talked about this before, and for some reason Donald Trump can't process the actual numbers. He prefers to deal in his alternate reality. But the reality is, in fact, that violent crime has dropped 26% under the Biden-Harris administration. It has gone from 398 per 100,000 people to 294 per 100,000 people. This is an annualized figure, so it's a very significant drop this year in particular. And under the Trump administration, violent crime was effectively flat, went up a little bit. That was COVID, in fairness, but basically no progress, huge progress under Biden in violent crime. Now, one of the things that the former president, the other guy, would like us all to think is that all this violent crime, however much there is being committed by immigrants. And we've talked about this before also, and it doesn't seem to have penetrated either. But the fact is that when you look at who commits violent crimes, it is disproportionately native-born Americans, not immigrants. So this is the rate of crime produced by native-born Americans. This is by legal immigrants, and this is by undocumented immigrants. And if you look at property crime, if you look at drug violations, you're going to find the same thing. And it's not that crazy to think about. If you come here and you're an undocumented immigrant, you don't want to be sent back. So you are much more likely to be a law-abiding citizen and documented.
That just makes so much sense to me, that if you're going to live in the United States, you don't want to necessarily get on the wrong side of the law, because there's a good chance you'll be deported. So you're going to be probably more law-abiding, as is being pointed out here, than you would be if you were just a normal, everyday, unadulterated citizen.
And immigrants are very happy to be here. They don't want to commit crimes. And so the high crime rates are really among native-born Americans, and they've been going down. And this is utterly contrary to what Donald Trump said. Yeah, I don't have 1950 here, but you can see even from the beginning of Obama what's happened to the crime rate from here to here, and a material amount of it, again, just to repeat, has come under the Biden administration.
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have, and who's going to have higher prices, is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years.
What are the facts? All right. What are the facts? What are the facts? Steve.
Joe, it's amusing to me, as you know, an economics guy, that trade and tariffs have not been this much of an issue, I think, since the days of Grover Cleveland and Benjamin Harrison, when they fought about tariffs but every American now has heard a lot about tariffs. So let's talk about the reality of tariffs. Trump says China's going to pay the tariffs, or whatever country the goods are coming from. That is utterly false. First of all, tariffs are paid by the companies that bring the goods into the country, not by some other foreign country. What do those companies do when they're paying tariffs? They raise their prices. So here's a real-life example of what can happen. These are laundry machine prices. Trump imposed tariffs on them back in 2018. Prices immediately, or over a period of time, went up $200. That was faster than the increase in the rate of inflation. Biden allowed those tariffs to expire. Prices went down $75, and all in all, the price of laundry machines has now increased by less than the overall inflation rate. So you can see a live example. If you put tariffs on, prices go up. You take them off, prices go down. They're national sales tax, just as Kamala Harris said. They're paid by the consumer. So let's see what the consumer is paying. There are various estimates around of what the Trump tariffs would cost. He's talking about 20% on everything, 60% on what comes in from China. There are estimates that it would cost somewhere between $2,600 and $4,000 a year per family, but that is not equally distributed. Taxes are regressive. People at the lower end pay a higher share of their income, just like they do in sales tax, in tariffs. And you can see the impact here. If you're at the bottom, the Trump tariffs would cost you 6.3% of your income, of your after-tax income. If you're at the top, it would only cost you 2.9% of your after-tax income. So we are, in effect, and it's not huge numbers, we are making the wealthier wealthier and the poor poorer when we put taxes on, as well as burdening the whole society with anywhere up to $4,000 of additional cost per family.
I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over, they got rid of it. We're in for $250 billion or more, because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary to getting this thing done than we are. They're in for $150 billion less because Biden and you don't have the courage to ask Europe.
Steve, what's the truth on these two?
You know, he got his numbers almost exactly reversed. It's quite remarkable. At least he had some numbers in his head. They just were the wrong ones for the wrong thing. So the fact is that Europe has been far more generous to Ukraine, as we have been, over $180 billion to Ukraine. We are limping, I shouldn't say limping along, because it's a reasonable amount of money. We are sending $100 billion. And, you know, this whole little flatline piece here, you remember the whole fight last spring about whether to give them money at all. And it barely got done at all. And so we are by far the laggards in who's contributing more to the Ukraine problem.
They're the facts. Now, some of you may wish to dispute some of those facts, and I understand that. But if you've got better facts, if there's something you know that I don't know, please share them with me, because Donald Trump has got it wrong, and that he keeps selling that idea that the United States is doing poorly around crime, and particularly in relation to importing goods such as, you know, and the use of tariffs. We can now better understand, I think, exactly how tariffs will harm the United States. And it just demonstrates, I think, Donald Trump's complete ignorance around that particular subject. So if you agree with what I say, please let me know. If you disagree, it's also okay to let me know what you think in the comment section below. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.